Okay, so welcome. Today we are going to cover preparing for an interview. So this is for radiography, and we're going to go over what is required for this assignment. Preparing for an interview. So the assignment title is preparing for an interview. So this should help put you in good stead for when you do come to apply for your next role. So, Festina, can you see that okay?
Yes, I do.
Perfect. Okay, so yeah, we'll start. So just so you've obviously done an assignment before, so you'll know that you have to make sure that you fill in your student name, your tutor name, the subject, and the other details. So the due date, the date submitted, and then you've got the student signature and your word count. So that's pretty straightforward. Okay, so okay, so for the assignment brief, I feel like we're missing a page here. This is. mm, Okay, that looks okay. Okay, so for this assignment, you need to create a portfolio which addresses all of the learning outcomes for this unit. So I'm just going to go ahead to the learning outcomes. So as a reminder, so the different learning outcomes that we've covered throughout this unit have been, so the first part was to prepare appropriately for at least two different types of interview. So we covered 1.1, so we understood how we produce a structured CV that identifies your own skills, experience, and/or qualifications. 1.2 was completing at least one diagnostic test in both numeracy and literacy. The second learning outcome, which we went over a couple of weeks ago, was how understanding the importance of verbal and non-verbal communications, the differences, which we covered, which you gave some great examples of, I remember. So the 2.1, this is the assessment criteria. So the learner needs to show that they can identify a range of relevant non-verbal communication skills that may be used for an interview situation. And then we've got 2.2, so identify a range of questions that may be encountered at interview and identify possible interviewee responses. And then we have 2.3, and identify a range of relevant questions that may be put to the interviewer by the interviewee. And then we've got apply for the third outcome, learning outcome. It's apply interview skills in a role play situation. So that was how we plan and participate effectively in at least two different role play scenarios. So it could look differently depending on if it was a formal or informal interview. Yeah, I mean, we did went over a few different examples there. Um, and then for learning outcome 4 is to recognise areas for improvement in interview skills. So 4.1, the assessment criteria is identify at least one strength and one inner area for improvement from own interview preparation and performance skills. And 4.2, identify at least one strength and one area for improvement for other contributions to the interview role play. So just holding that all in your mind. So within the assignment brief, you need to kind of ensure that you're covering up most of those different assessment learning outcomes. So learning outcome 1, the expectation is that you will write a CV that will show your personal and academic information. Have you got a CV, Festina?
I have a simple one somewhere, hiding somewhere.
Yeah. So you've got the foundations, haven't you, of a CV? Um, and yeah, I will, after this session, I will send over via WhatsApp some Canva. I don't know if you've heard of Canva, but Canva's a really, really good way to write a CV. That's what I have used in the past, and it looks really professional. And yeah, I would really recommend using that to create a CV. You can get like a free trial, but you'd have to have a look at that. And then, or so can either do the CV, or you can do a suitably structured biographical questionnaire enclosing personal details, past academic achievements, future plans, and any other relevant information such as leisure interests. So which of those do you think you would prefer to do? Would you prefer to write a CV for this assignment, or the biographical questionnaire?
Mm, maybe. I'll look at it well and then
Yeah,
mm, maybe I'll do the CV.
yeah. I think in my experience, that's what will be most. That I think that'll be most useful for if you want to get some use out of this going forward for jobs. I reckon a CV would be helpful, and it'll get you used to um, it's good practice. And then for learning outcome two, so this is also part of the assignment. You need to show evidence of your understanding of verbal and non-verbal communication. So you need to list at least 5 non-verbal communication skills that may be used in an interview and explain why they are important. The second one, list at least 5 appropriate questions that may be encountered at interview, giving detailed possible responses. So you need to show an example of 5 questions that you may be asked, and then you need to give 5 different responses. So we did try this a few weeks ago. I remember I asked you a couple of questions and you gave me an example, and you've got some fantastic examples there, Festina. So I know that you'll smash this section. Okay, and the next one is basically to do the same. So list at least 5 appropriate questions that may be put to the interviewer at interview and explaining their relevance. So, how do you feel about that one? Do you feel
The,
okay?
the two, do I have to select the two do I have to select one?
You need to do all of those.
All of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But we have been through. We did go over that a little bit a couple of weeks ago, so I know that you know this. Um, so for the last one, so this list at least 5 appropriate questions that may be put to the interviewer at an interview, explaining their relevance. So just having a think about what kind of questions you may ask when you have an interview, and why they may be important for you. Can you think of anything an example for that one around what question you may ask when you do have an interview?
In case I'm asking the interviewer a
Mhm.
question.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So what question do you think is important to ask at an interview? And you have to give 5 examples of that.
The first one that comes up was how best can I um I don't know how to put the question, but it's like
Take your time. Do you want me to give an example first?
okay.
So I think for me, like an important question that I've asked in the past for jobs has been around the expectations for what the working pattern is,
Mhm.
and to understand, is there anything within the HR policy around those that have children? So understanding how flexible they may be as an employer.
Okay.
I'm a single parent, so I need to understand how that work may potentially fit in with my life and my commitments. So that's one question that I've.
So what of this question? How best can I be um brought up to their expectations since I'm a novice to their company?
Oh, so you want to understand what are the expectations
Yeah,
from your side?
like how best can they brought me up to meet their expectations?
Okay, so how can they best support you in terms of your personal development?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good question. Yeah, so that could be a perfect question then. So yeah, so I guess the way that you would frame would put that in a question would be, are there how does the organisation support professional development for staff? Um, if you do have an interest in personal development, which I'm sure you do, so that's a really good question. Can you think of any more, Festina?
What if I want to go for a further studies, are they able or is it possible for them to support me either financially or um time wise? Maybe when I'm off.
Uh-huh. So say that again. Sorry. So to support you
In case of at a point in time you would like to have refresher courses or
Mhm.
go for further studies, are they able to finance that or
Okay. Yeah.
maybe help me with or give me time
Hmm.
off
So
off work?
yeah. So complete studies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good question, and it shows that you're very keen and you care about your development and how it may be beneficial to the organisation. Because everything that we all learn as staff can only be helpful to the organisation. So that is a good question. Can you explain? So I guess yeah, that would explaining why that question is important. You need to do that for that question for this question as well. So um, is that okay for you, Festina?
Maybe the explanation is for self-development and then to be able to be abreast with time.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's great. Um, so do you think you'll be okay with that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I know you will. You'll do great. So okay, moving on to the next one. So for learning outcome 3, you need to this section you need to document evidence of your participation in at least 2 different role play scenarios. So one of these should be in a formal situation, and the other may be informal or in a group. For each scenario ensures that you receive either verbal or written feedback from your tutor or others. So that is, yeah, um, the role play would have been in the last week, the last session. So for that, I'm going to speak to, I'll check that, I'm going to double check on that one and get back to you, if that's okay. Because I'm not quite sure what we need to do for that one, given that it is, you do need evidence to show that you've done 2 different role play scenarios. I know we have covered it within the sessions briefly. We've had a few different role play um, scenarios, but I'm not sure if that will cover for this learning outcome. So I just need to double check with that one. Is that okay? Okay, so the next learning outcome is a reflection for learning outcome 4, a reflection on the skills you have developed for interview preparation and performance. So you need to give one strength you feel you have developed and outline one area where you think you could improve and why. Okay. And then the next section is consider the feedback you received. Give one strength identified and consider one of the areas for improvement identified. So do you think that the past few weeks, all the section, all the areas that we've been over, do you feel that you've developed an understanding for how to interview, for how to prepare for an interview?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. What?
Only that I have to practice
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be more perfect.
Yeah. So I think it's like you have an understanding maybe now of what you need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's and you embrace the challenge, and that's positive. Yeah, I can tell that you are up for a challenge and work hard. Um, so, is there any area that you think that you could improve on in terms of interview preparation and performance?
Now that I know the outline, I
Hmm.
should be able to even do it without looking onto whatever I've prepared
Hmm.
and sound more confident.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think so. This is asking you to outline an area where you think you could improve. We can always get better at something. So I think, do you have any ideas about, it's asking you there for one area you think you could improve on? Do you have any idea for that one?
One area to improve on for now.
Yeah.
Not too sure because it's like um, when you ask me to do the role play, it's like as a what? So it's like I want to.
I think for you, and I'm exactly the same. I think an area that you can improve on is confidence. That is my feedback.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not a negative thing, because we all struggle with confidence, and confidence comes from experience of doing so many interviews. So it's getting prepared and being organized when you're doing interviews will give you that confidence. So it's only a positive thing. But I definitely think you need to have more confidence, because I think you've got so much experience and so much knowledge, and the examples that you gave me, you do a fantastic work. The examples that you gave me, you should be more confident, I think. But I think that's down to understanding what is the process and what is required. Because I know when I felt confused about what I need to do and not understanding the process, that's when my confidence can go down. So I think, yeah, um, that's maybe just to give you an idea for that section. So consider the feedback you received, give one strength identified, and consider one of the areas for improvement identified. That's quite similar to the above question. So I guess that's based on feedback. So the first point is what you think, and the second bit is around the second part is around the feedback. Um, so does that make sense, Festina?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. And then we've got the two. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
So then if you look at these, so for each question, we just have to make sure that it links back to each of these learning outcomes. So that will help you answer the question, because
Okay.
that's what they're trying to get out of the learners. They want this information. So they want you to show that you understood all these areas within these questions. And then I'm going to move over now to the actual requirements. Um, so I'll move that over there, and we've got. Okay, so these are the assignment writing guidelines for students. Can you see that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of the format and presentation, so the header every page of your assignment must have the unit name and your full name in the header. It needs to have page numbers on each of the assignments. And then for the layout, you need to have standard margins, 1.5 line spacing, and a clear font like Arial or Calibra size 11 or 12. You do need to write in paragraphs, so don't use bullet points or numbered lists. And every idea should be presented in full sentences and organised into paragraphs. So that's the expectations there. And then for the next section, this is around referencing and the use of sources. So in-text referencing, so when using any definition, theory or framework that you cannot paraphrase, you must mention the original author in text within the paragraph and then include it in the full bibliography at the end. And that just goes into a bit more further detail on there. And you should have this on your Moodle. Do you have a copy
Yeah.
of this?
Yeah, I have. I do.
Oh, good. And then obviously the word count. So that's the word count there. So general writing advice, be specific, avoid vague statements, and always link your points back to the unit topic. Use examples, so apply theories to real world or case-based scenarios where possible. Stay objective, so use evidence to support your analysis or your examples in this case. I mean, this is a bit different for this unit because it's asking for your opinion. The questions ask for this is about you. So, in it's you can be objective to a point, but it's going to be difficult when you're talking about yourself, because it is your opinion in this case. So avoid filler. Don't pad your word count. Um, so that's that. And then I'm just gonna find. Okay, this is. Okay, I'm just going back to the. So I think that's everything for today, Christina. It's only short. That's a short one.
All right.
Have you got
Thank
any
you so much.
Have you got any
No,
questions?
no, please.
Are you okay with that?
Yes, I'm okay.
You'll do great.
Yes, I will do.
Okay, well, have a lovely evening, and I'll speak to you
Thank
soon,
you.
hopefully. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. Bye. Stay safe. Bye.
Bye.